Hey everyone, so this is Catfish Season 5 Episode 19, and it's called Lewis and Sydney. Um, Basically, the catfishee is named Lewis, and the catfisher's name is Sydney. The story is Lewis is a 30-year-old construction worker who is from Newburgh, New York. Um, He's a single father of 3 girls. He met Sydney 5 months ago online. Sydney is a 22-year-old single mother, and she has been struggling to take care of her grandmother, sister, and daughter for the last 5 months. Her grandmother has passed away recently, and so now her daughter and herself are living in a shelter, or been living in shelters for the past 2 months. But there are obviously things that aren't adding up about Sydney. Like, they never video chatted, even though they talk on the phone all the time. He's asked for photos, but she's never sent him one. The pictures she does post never have any of her and her daughter, meaning that she never shows her daughter in her pictures at all. And he's thinking of asking her and her daughter to move in with him and his daughters. He has 3. But he feels hesitant since she seems to be hiding something. So after reading his email, they call him on Skype as per usual, and explains he saw her on Facebook through the friends he may know thing, and then explains a little bit about her. He explains that the reason he was taking care of her sister and grandmother is because her mother is in jail. Her sister is apparently 6 years old. Her daughter is a newborn. Within the first 2 weeks that they started talking, she asked for money and he gave her $60. Me and Max then go to Newburgh, and after talking to him for a little while, then go to Lewis's house. Once inside, Lewis says the texts weren't flirty at first and we're just talking, and he explains that every single time he asks for photos, like he said, she would never give him anything. One excuse that she came up with was that her camera was broken. Lewis shows what Sydney looks like in their texts. Then she calls as Neve and Max talk to Lewis, and Lewis kind of lies and says that he's all by himself when he's clearly not. So basically, after that phone call, Neve and Max go to a local cafe, and start the research. They check the phone number and get a few hits on one website. A few hits meaning like they get a few names. One of them being Tom, somebody they never show the last name, for obviously privacy reasons. But anyway, so they get a few hits on that, and get one hit on the first website with the name Tom. They look through another website for the same number and come up with the name Nay, with the same last name as Tom from the first website. They look up the name Nay but don't really find anything. Then they look up a couple of photos, and the first photo that they find or they look up is that gives them a hit for a girl named Monique on Facebook. Monique has apparently been charged with forgery, and then so after that they go back to Neve and Max go back to Lewis's house again and tell him what they found. Neve then says that they should call her, but she doesn't answer, so Neve leaves a voicemail. And then as Neve and Max then go back to the car, or get back into the car, Sydney calls. Neve explains the situation to Sydney, how Lewis wants to meet her, all this stuff. and Neve also explains that they found the Monique page, um, but Sydney claims that the Monique page is fake. I was just like, nah, there's no way. I mean, there's no way. Because oh, I forgot to mention that when they looked up Monique, they looked up Monique and her last name in Google, and they found uh, that she was I think convicted of forgery, or she's been linked to forgery, so she's been in trouble with the law regarding forgery. And I forgot to mention that, but that's what they came up with. So unless she's, I don't know, it just seemed very implausible that this Monique page was fake. It seemed very, very implausible. And I didn't buy that she was like, oh, this Monique page is fake. I just didn't buy that. Like, she didn't, like, I don't know, it just seemed very fake to me. And she says her name, or no, before I get to that, she eventually agrees to meet them in Dallas, Texas, where she lives. So Neve, Max, and Lewis go to the airport, I think the next day, but I can't be certain about that. And then they go to a local park that she suggests that they go to, because she doesn't want to be, apparently she doesn't want to be seen in a shelter, so she suggests a local park. So they go to the park, and it's clearly not the girl in the pictures. Like I said, no way that that the girl in the pictures was the one he was talking to. No way. And then she says her name is Nay. And before I go any further, I wanna point out that last week when I saw them bring up the whole forgery, like the girl that they found out that could possibly be the real person in the pictures was, or not the person in the pictures, but that the person who was catfishing was involved in forgery, and in trouble with the law. I figured that wasn't the case, because there'd be no way that MTV would, put themselves in a position to have a convicted person or someone in trouble with the law on their show. No way. The Larissa and Anthony episode was, I guess, unique, and obviously they've done it before, but I mean, I'm thinking that there was some backlash or something when they were making the episode, to the point where they were like, you know what, no, I don't want to, jeopardize the success of the show or the future of the show for people who are in trouble with the law. So it didn't seem plausible that the person who was catfishing was in trouble with the law. I don't know. It just seems like like MTV is smarter than to, open themselves up to a can of worms where they have someone who's in trouble with the law on the show. I don't know. It just seems like MTV would be biting themselves in the foot, or shooting themselves in the foot, or whatever you want to call it. Like they're basically shooting themselves in the foot if they do that. So I figured that the catfisher wasn't in trouble with the law. I just figured. Anyway, we find out that she's not living in a shelter, her mom is not in prison, and her grandmother did not die. But she does have a baby. That's the one thing that she pretty much told the truth about. She says she doesn't have a job, but is still looking for money, or still asks for money. She claims that she has feelings for Louis now. She claims she tried to stop talking to him, but since they talked every single day, she couldn't really help but, catch feelings for him. Then they take a break for the rest of the day, and then, go their separate ways. And then they come back the next day and meet at Nate's house. She reveals that she felt hurt, that he didn't seem more hurt about it. Like he claimed he was the previous day. I'm like, girl, really? Come on. You have no reason to be upset here. You're the one who lied, not only about your name, but your pictures, and your mom in prison, your grandmother dying, and you being in a shelter. You literally lied about everything, except, well, with the one exception of the baby, you literally lied about everything. So you have no reason to be upset here, and you have no reason to be upset with him not showing that he's upset. If he doesn't want to show it, that's his prerogative. I'm not gonna be, I don't know, I'm just not gonna be that mad about it, because, if this was, like, not in front of cameras, maybe I'd be more upset that he wasn't showing more anger, or showing that he's upset about it. So I would be upset if he wasn't showing it in not in front of cameras. So but since it's in front of cameras, I can understand him not wanting to show any emotion or show that he's upset, because he's probably feeling humiliated right now. He's probably feeling humiliated, which I can't blame him for. So I'm not gonna be that upset that he's not showing that much emotion right now, because he's probably feeling humiliated as it is, and showing any sign of emotion would probably make him feel even more upset or humiliated. So you have no reason to be upset that he's not showing any emotion, especially when you lied about pretty much everything. So Neve and Max say she could be playing the victim for all they know as they speak, which is true. I really don't have any sympathy for her. She lied. She pretty much lied and didn't have the decency to tell the truth. So she could just be playing the victim to make people show sympathy towards her, which this is very, very true. I don't know. Max, who rightfully says that this is the problem with, first, before I say that, Max goes on to say that Neve and Max heard on the phone with Lewis the other day, before arriving in Dallas, and now she wants to get all butthurt because they said that she could be playing the victim, and she says that no matter what she says, they'll never believe her, and now Max rightfully says that is the problem with scamming. You can't lie to people and tell them false truths when to get sympathy and money and all this stuff, and then expect them to believe you 100% or even 50% about anything, because all you've done so far is lie. Neve asks then why did it go on so long. Nate's like, you know what, I'm just gonna tell the truth since you're not gonna believe me one way or the other. Everything that she's done with Lewis meant nothing to her. Everything she said, everything she's done meant nothing. And at the end of the day, she'll do whatever she has to do to get stuff for her kids, being a mother and everything. Max says that's just an excuse, which I think is true. But she says that it isn't an excuse. Lewis chimes in and says he's a parent as well, and he would never make excuses. Then they eventually leave her house. They don't do a 2-month follow-up via Skype like they usually do. And instead it's a 1-month follow-up where Lewis says that he has centered his life around work and his kids, and he's, kind of wary of online dating, and he has stopped using Facebook altogether. Nay, apparently has stopped catfishing, which I don't believe whatsoever. I really don't believe it. Um, Especially if she's, asking for money 2 weeks into talking to Lewis. I doubt she's just stopped catfishing. I really doubt that. And that's basically the end of the whole episode. This is just a basic episode, or a basic catfish episode. Nothing exciting, nothing new. Just a run of the mill catfish episode. So, I didn't see a preview for next week's episode. There's gonna be an episode next week, so I won't be predicting anything. I guess whenever I see next week's preview, I'll do like a little 5-minute prediction or something, but I can't really do it now since I didn't see it. But anyway, all that done, I will leave it at that, and I will see you guys in next week's episode. So don't hesitate to comment down below and discuss with me this episode. Hit like if you like this episode, hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I will link my Patreon page in the description box below, so you can see this video before I post it. And I will see you guys next week in Catfish episode 20, if there's an episode. Bye.